8:40 Eastern kick. FC Dallas and Nashville SC. FCD is a plus 200. Draws a plus 270. Nashville is a plus 1.25. And for that, we get all of our intel. Our first question for you, Ryan, where is our friend EP? Where is Edwin Pintor?
Oh, I'm hiding out in the closet to stay away from him. I didn't want him to jump up in the background and distract us. So how's it going, John?
It's going well, sir. It's great to catch up with you for the first time here in 2026. And I want to get into the game a little bit later. I want to kind of build to it. I want to go through 2025, educate everybody on the lessons from that. And then we'll go to match week last, and then we'll get into Nashville, and that'll be the rundown here for you this week. So out of 2025, what stuck with you about last season that you brought with you in an informational sense that was getting you ready for 2026?
Oh, 2025 was a tale of two seasons. It was a very unique one where we had the Lucho Acosta experiment for the first half of the year. When I last came on the show, we were previewing a game against Atlanta, and obviously that was, the exciting headline was that Lucho Acosta was coming, and the combination and the potential with Musa and that duo. But it just never really clicked, and the team never found a tactical identity that was able to accommodate, the negatives of Lucho Acosta, which is, he's not going to run against the ball. He's not really a part of the team concept. He wants to dictate and for it to all go through him, which, we've seen that can work in Cincinnati when you build a great structure around him. But it just didn't work with his time in FC Dallas. And for that, it ended up being a short time with FC Dallas. And he was gone by the summer, sold down to Brazil. And, by all accounts, he's doing well down there. But the team also here improved massively ever since, Lucho Acosta and the squad parted ways. Built it around Musa, changed the shape, went to more of a two-striker formation to allow Logan Farrington, our third-year striker now, to come into the lineup alongside Musa, and those two have just really blossomed as a duo up top. And also just solidifying the back line. Figuring out that tactical identity with three center backs, converting a couple of guys into wing backs and using their talents in a different way. I think we also kind of underrated the impact of Christian Kappas, who came back to, the club that he had started to come through in his youth, but was never allowed to make a debut for because of MLS roster rules. It was a whole situation, but we brought him back from Denmark where he'd been playing, and he made a huge impact. He has a good relationship with Eric Quill. Quill coached him in the youth ranks, so it was great for them to have a reunion, and I think he brought a lot of stability to midfield as well. So, in short, it was Lucho out, and then the team started to improve, and we played at a top four pace down the stretch and managed to qualify for the playoffs in seventh position. So overall, it was a tale of two halves of the season, and the positive thing is that the second half is the one that you want to build on, right? And there's a lot of continuity over the offseason to carry into 2026.
14 outs, 11 ins, and you mix into that the homegrowns and the draft picks and a couple of transfers here and there. Probably one of the bigger exclamation points was Martin Paz being transferred to Ajax and then trying to figure out what the situation was going to be in net. You bring in Brooks Thompson as a part of that discussion. How would you break down what Martin meant to the organization in the time that he was there?
He embraced the city, embraced the club, embraced everything that DFW sports is, more than any player that's come in as a foreigner. And he came in and made it his home right away. At the time, he was, just the Dutch goalkeeper that we brought in on loan and then made a permanent signing. And, his journey with Indonesia is well chronicled as well, making the switch to represent them internationally. And that was so much fun for us to go on that ride with him. But ultimately, he was a huge part of the locker room. I think he was one of the biggest voices in that group. And it is a big loss. However, on the field, at least, I think Michael Collodi has proven very capable, and he won that job straight up down the stretch. Martin missed some time with Indonesia with injury, and Michael Collodi was the starter down the stretch of the season when we were doing our best work last year. So I think there was a lot of confidence in Collodi, and then starting to explore options for Martin. What does the next step in his career look like? And he couldn't have asked for a better opportunity than what he got with Ajax. They needed a goalkeeper. They had, at the time, they thought a starting goalkeeper who was on loan from Liverpool. But they signed Martin to be the backup, but also to have a shot at being a starter next year. Well, now Martin shows up, and the goalkeeper from Liverpool goes down injured within a week, and Martin's going to get a chance to be the starter for the rest of the season and potentially hold that job going into next season as well. And This is his boyhood club. He showed us pictures of him wearing Ajax kit at age 8, and he still owned a house right down the street from the stadium. So it was a no-brainer for him, and it was one of those rare situations where I think the transfer worked out for everybody because Collodi was ready to be the starter here. Martin needed to make that step and maybe wanted to go back to Europe, and it was the perfect opportunity for him.
Last week, just to let everybody know about what Michael Collodi did, 4 defensive contributions, and he triggered a lot of different categories. He got some check marks a lot of different places. 4 defensive contributions, 3 clears, 8 recoveries, won every duel, whether it was on the ground or in the air. He was 3 for 3 on the night against Toronto. Then also 3 saves. Goals prevented, I don't know if there's an X minus GA or whatever category it would be, but it's a minus 0.92. So basically, through his actions, saved a goal from happening over the span of 90 minutes. 1 save inside the box, 3 punch clears, and 1 run out. That's a lot of different categories that you get for a keeper that has to kind of take care of everything inside the 6.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest strength and maybe the biggest upgrade with Collodi coming in as a starter is the way that he commands the box. I mean, for a guy that's not super tall, I think he's right at 6 foot, more in the Nick Rimando build of goalkeepers, but he has the ability to to rise up and punch, to come up and make catches and contested through traffic, and he's fearless in that. And I think he plays the position in a really exciting way, and he's fun to watch. I get a little bit nervous every time he goes up for the big punch and then, lands awkwardly that we're going to have a situation where whether it's Jonathan Serwa or Brooks Thompson's going to have to come into the game. But so far he's proven durable, knock on wood, and he's really exciting the way that he plays the position.
All right. Now that you've had a couple days to think about it, 3-2 win over Toronto FC, and Musa gets the brace, scores in the 9th, kind of put Toronto on their heels for the sum total of 6 minutes, and then Georgi Mihailovic scores. And then Logan Farrington, you mentioned him earlier, gets the goal in the 38th to make it 2-1 at the break. Derek Etienne Jr. did something in Toronto that you wished he did when he was here if you're an Atlanta United fan. 2-2, and then Peter Musa gets the second one in the 74th. Now that you've had a handful of days to think about the win over Toronto, what sticks in your mind?
I mean, we've got a strike partnership that is up there with the league's best, in my opinion. I mean, Musa is a 1A option. I think everybody around here in this building thinks that he's the best striker in all of Major League Soccer, and I think there's a strong argument for that. And Logan Farrington has come into his own in his 3rd season now as the perfect foil. We call him the perfect Parrington. We're trying to spread that that nickname across the internet here. But the way that they combine is it's a little bit of a throwback style, 2 big number 9s, but they still have the ability to be creative, to pick out a pass. Logan completed 6 out of 9 dribbles on Saturday, which, I mean, that's a high number for any position, much less a striker. Usually you attribute that to more of like a winger. But he's also has the ability to be creative. And as we saw on the winning goal, drift out to the left, beat his man, put the cross in, and Musa does what he does and puts it in the back of the net. So those 2 are super exciting. I think, maybe things to work on. The defense was a little bit gappy at times. I don't want to see us conceding 2 goals to a Toronto team. Now we're going to talk about the teams that we're about to play. We might need to score 3 every week over the next 3, but I think there's some things to tighten up at the back, and I think there was a lot of accountability with the guys and what they were saying after the game and acknowledging that maybe we made this a little bit too difficult on ourselves, but ultimately after a season where you only had 6 home wins last year, to start in the win column was really the only thing that mattered, I think.
All right, so let's play it forward. And we mentioned the juice boxes for this matchup coming into this one. 8:40 Eastern kick, FCD hosting Nashville SC. Nashville comes in at a plus 125, FC Dallas at a plus 200. Nashville, I have heard that they are not too bad about putting the round thing into the netting behind the opposite.
That way.
So challenges, what has study hall been like, and what's it been like from Eric Quill and FC Dallas getting ready for Nashville?
Totally different proposition this week, I think, not just in terms of the way they play, but the quality that they play with compared to Toronto. Toronto, obviously, adding Josh Sargent today is going to get better, but we were not playing the finished article in terms of Toronto FC on week 1. Nashville, though, looks like they're set to win now. Obviously, they just blew out Ottawa over 2 legs in Champions Cup. They blew out New England in the opening day. They've scored a ton of goals, so they're coming in riding a high. I think there are some vulnerabilities at the back just because they're betting in some new guys, a new starting goalkeeper, a new left center back. But ultimately, that high-flying attack, Espinosa being added to the duo of Surge and Mukhtar, is it's up there with the league's best, and they've already shown some good chemistry together. So they're going to have to be, as Shaq Moore told us, they have to mind their P's and Q's at the back this week for sure.
Might have to mind P, Q, R, and S when it comes to Nashville and what we've seen. What is and I know that, and okay, I'll go ahead and get into the stadium discussions. I know that when folks are looking at Toyota, when they're looking at it from your perspective in the press box and they're seeing all the construction going on, for folks that may not necessarily know about the full project, what's going on there at Toyota as a part of renovation, expansion, et cetera? What is all that construction that we're seeing on a game by game basis over there?
Yeah, it's we're in year 2 of the process now. It's a $200 million renovation of the stadium to add a canopy roof over both sides. If you can go to Toyota Stadium, newtoyotastadium.com, there's a ton of renderings of what it's going to look like, but it's going to look unbelievable. They're adding the longest video board in all of Major League Soccer. That'll be a part of phase 2. So there's a ton to be excited about from a stadium standpoint. Right now, obviously, we're living through some growing pains with only having half capacity, but it was nice to show up for the stadium for week 1 and to be able to see that the roof structure has gone up and see the progress, because a lot of that early progress is laying foundations, putting in plumbing, and stuff that you don't see, and it looks like we're just playing in a construction zone. Now it looks like, okay, we can see the vision of what we're selling here in terms of the final product. The roof looks great, new lighting, new speakers, really elevated the game day experience for week 1, and it's just got me more excited for what it's going to look like. For those that don't know, the process is basically a year and a half, which we're in the tail end of, renovating that side. And then all the fans are going to flip over to that new side, enjoy that new side while they do demolition and then reconstruction of the near side where the press box is and where the cameras are right now. So it's a 2-phase situation, but right now we're in the tail end of phase 1, and it's exciting to see what it's going to look like and start to imagine.
Okay, so then this time next year, you're going to be in the club level getting all of the great food. Is that how this plays out when it comes to the press box flip?
Press box, your guess is as good as mine. They haven't told me yet, but hopefully that sounds great to me.
Coming into this matchup, I know that we talked about Musa, we talked about Farrington, we talked about Michael Collodi. Give me someone that is not one of those A-list conversation points, kind of the below the radar dudes, that if Eric Quill's game plan against Nashville is working the way that he wants it to, and game plan in general, probably week to week, give me a dude below the radar that we can watch in this matchup and sit there and go, I heard about this guy. He's navigating things the way that FC Dallas needs for them to be successful. Who's that second level dude we need to focus on?
Particularly this week, it's going to be Osaze Aragide, who I think I mentioned to you early last season as well. Just maybe, the most talented center back that this club has ever had, up there with Matt Hedges, I think, who's one of our all-time greats. The way that he plays the position is just so fun. He plays in the middle of the back 3, and he's up for the physical battles. He's winning physical duels, but also, if you check the highlights from week 1, he gets the assist on the opening goal because he has a mind to just drive forward and make things happen himself. So I think if we're going to be able to slow down Mukhtar and Suraj, it's going to be because of him. A couple other names I would shout out is Herman Johansson, who's one of our new additions. He's playing right wing back, 6'3" Swedish guy, streaking down the right side the entire game, but didn't have a ton of joy against Richie Larea in week 1. I mean, Richie Larea is a quality player, and I think Johansson got the rub of a couple bad calls, unfortunately. And
I was going to say, did Richie fall down with?
Oh, he did. He did.
Just checking.
More than once. I think he drew 5 fouls in a game or something crazy like that. So I think I'm excited to see what Johansson looks like in week 2 now that he's kind of adjusted to the way the game is called. He's got so much speed and ability to get up and down the flank. He's coming off winning the Swedish title with Mjällby, who was the sort of Cinderella story out there. But he was a big part of that team. And so he's been a great addition, and I'm excited to see him get to his best. And we might see a debut as well for our other sort of bigger signing this window, which was Joaquin Valiente, Uruguayan number 10, who's now got his visa and he's eligible to potentially play. So that's exciting as well.
All right. Hit the promo for me if you would, sir, and let everybody know how they can pay attention to you, not just this week, but everything else going on with FCD that we need to know about all season long.
Yeah, FC Dallas Radio Network. We post all of our podcast post-game shows, the FC Dallas Agenda podcast, which is our weekly episode. Those go out on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find them. Just search FC Dallas Agenda. Search FC Dallas Radio Network. And then we also do the games as well. I think we like to push people towards YouTube, where we do what's called the Burncast. sort of our live look into the booth and the ability for you to drop comments and get involved in the discussions and sort of, have that experience. So tune into the Burncast, tune into the FC Dallas Radio Network all season long, and we got you covered.
How is the Burncast, by the way? What's the feedback like on that?
It's been good, man. It's exciting. We've seen growth. We sort of modeled it off of a few other teams that had started streaming their games on YouTube. LA Galaxy, I think, was the main one. But we wanted to elevate the experience, so we brought in the booth cam. We brought in sort of an overlay with a scoreboard. And we've kind of made a concerted effort to talk to people through the comments and to bring their thoughts into the halftime show, the post-game show. And I think it's got people excited. They enjoy being a part of it. So hopefully it continues to build.
Good deal. Keep us posted on that kind of thing, too, because imitation is a sincerest form of flattery. Ryan,
Absolutely.
Thanks again for dropping by. Go get your second cup of coffee, I think, or go get some brunch or something. Have a good call this weekend. We'll be catching up with you all season long. Thanks for dropping by.
Yes, sir. Thanks, John.
There we go. And that's the FC Dallas perspective. Ryan Figert, play-by-play voice of FCD. Just to give you some intel on FCD really quickly and what their offseason was like, here are just some of the outs. It was Sebastian Lletget out. It was Carl Saint to El Paso Locomotive. Alejandro Urzura out. Martin Paz out. Paxton Pomykal was bought out just before the season happened. So that was probably one of the larger names in there that Paxton Pomykal was bought out before the season started. The ins, Ron Benjamin, U22. Ricky Lewis was drafted by FCD, and then that was out of Georgia Southern in the Super Draft. You mentioned Herman Johansson transferred in from Mjölby. You had a couple of homegrown signings. You had Jonathan Sirois come in. You mentioned Sirois as a part of the goalkeeping cadre to go with Collodi. So Sirois comes in from CF Montreal up to $350,000 in GAM. Joaquin Valiente, the 10, transferred in from Defensor, and then Brooks Thompson loaned from Lexington SC to FC Dallas. And so those are the ins and the outs. Right now they are on the 2 and 4 plan, so they have a DP slot available. Peter Musa is their only DP. So their U22s are Patrickson Delgado, Kike, Ron Benjamin, and Giovanni Jesus. They've got, a little over $4 million in GAM if they need to go and they want to try to bring in another DP. Right now, after that win, they've got their first 2 at home, 4 of their first 5 at home, by the way. And it is an opportunity for Eric Quill to make to get some elbow room in there early. You've got Toronto, you got Nashville. You get past Nashville, then you go to LAFC. Then you're at home to San Diego. Then you've got a little Copa Tejas with Houston.